Oh, didn't know you was there. Well, I sort of did, but never mind. You know what it is? Zeus Cruz of Olympian Multimedia giving you another segment of Get Things Done. In this particular segment, we're going to get very precise and straight to the point with this. What I refer to as new baby. It's a new piece of equipment for the studio. It actually comes from Native Instrument. It's their Mark II D61 keyboard, and it's compatible with their Native Instrument Komplete software, or Komplete 13 software. Today, I'm just going to give you a quick tutorial to show you how to just get started when you're doing some beat production, and just kind of giving a quick outline to show that it's not difficult to start your musical projects, especially when you involve some hardware. A lot of people tend to get a little bit nervous or whatnot because they'll start seeing some equipment, start seeing the tuners, the knobs, see different types of buttons and whatnot, and they feel like they're going to get overwhelmed as if the process is very long, and it really isn't. Especially with Native Instrument and with their Komplete Now 13 software suite, they make it very easy, the very low overhead as far as needing to know a lot of different things to get started. It syncs to the program very nicely, and it's very quick for you to get to your creative juices and start mixing some stuff together. So let's check it out real quick. As you notice on the screen over here, if you do decide to use Native Instrument, which I definitely recommend, this is definitely my go-to as far as like beat making is concerned. You definitely have to download, as you see right here, I'm using with the pointer. It's called Native Access. That's basically a hub to allow you to download different plugins and different pieces of software associated with the suite. Without that, you won't be able to access certain things. Once you get that and you start downloading things, then obviously they'll come up as you see here as icons on your desktop, and then it allows you to go kind of like straight there and utilize what they have within the program. In order to use a MIDI keyboard, you specifically have to use complete control. Some people tend to ignore this, but it makes it so much easier to streamline between different softwares, different plugins, because their software suite offers all kinds of different things. It's not just about building on melody or chord progression. It also is about like making your own drum patterns, bass lines. They have different software that specialize specifically on what you're trying to do within your musical production. And complete control is exactly what the word says. It gives you complete control over all these different things into one space. As you see, I got it plugged up just now, and it's asking me now to use the browser or use the plus button. It is set up in a way where you can use your mouse, but you're very limited as far as what to do, because you're going to need some kind of controller, MIDI controller, to manipulate the sounds that you input on here. So that's where this comes into play. So if you notice here on the Mark II S61, you notice two screens on here. It allows you to not only open up different types of programs and whatnot and see what you're about to utilize, but it offers as much information as it can within these two screens. So you can go about whatever you're trying to do with your musical project. So we're going to go ahead and load it up. So the way to load it up, if you notice on the screen, we have the word browser. Once you click on browser, you notice on the left screen, it's basically telling you all the instruments. Like, it offers all categories, all products that you downloaded from your Native Access that I just spoke about earlier. On the right side, it actually gives you all the presets and all the different types of synths, loops, different sound packs, sound pools, different types of chords. Whatever you downloaded from Native Assets, it will be showcased on this right monitor. So let's go ahead and pick something real quick, just to kind of show you how easy it is to use this. You use the one tuner here, and it actually breaks down the different categories if there's a specific thing that you're trying to use. You use this one to kind of go to where you want to go. So you got Battery and Drum Lab. They were basic to make drum patterns and bass lines. You have other things like Hybrid Keys, Massive. Massive is really good if you're looking for specific synths. You got Monarch, Playbox, which is a very popular program to use within the suite. It kind of does this like smorgasbord of different sounds, and kind of just within a couple clicks, it kind of just merges and transitions all the sounds that you pick based off the parameters that you set, and makes a whole new sound for you. You can also input your own loops as well onto here. We're going to be talking about that in a different video. And if you notice on the screen, it's changing to what I'm putting it on. These are definitely meant for you to not be so focused on the computer screen, but kind of like control everything right on here on the keyboard. But let's go here to Hybrid Keys. And let's just pick this one right here. I picked 90s Anthem. Once you pick the one you want to click this button through, and it's going to go ahead and load it for you. So you got to wait a few seconds for it to load up onto the program. As you notice on the screen, Hybrid Keys came up. You can go ahead and use the interface for your computer to go ahead and switch the different tuners on there manually, set your parameters on there, but you can set them up here. How much reverb you want on it, the levels as far as the decibels are concerned, your frequencies, how much warmth, the pitch settings, so forth and so on. And as you notice, you just go ahead and play. And you see how quickly you get able to get inspiration. It doesn't take much. And again, you're using the controller to go ahead and set the way you want it. You can set your scale as well. You can set the tempo. You also have a play button and a stop button, because once you have it set up as far as what your chord progression is, or how you're going to format or lay out your melody, for example, this can also serve as a plugin to your actual DAW. And once you plug that up to your DAW, you can actually go ahead and record as MIDI onto your DAW. And then from there, you go ahead and do your editing process as far as mixing it, tweaking it, get it to where you want it to be. And even with this, you know, you have the ability to go ahead and switch the pitch of it. It just gives a little bit more texture to your sound or whatnot. The neat thing about this is too, you go right up here, you go back to browser, you'd be like, you know what? I'm pretty good with that. I want to go to something else. Let's go to Massive. it's already, as soon as you click on it, it's already giving you a sample, a little taste of what that specific sound that you're clicking on gives it a preview of what it sounds like. And again, real easy. You just click on it, you give it a few seconds to allow it to load up. And look at that, right on the screen. Again, intuitive. The workflow is very fluent. And again, you set up all your parameters on here without the need to touch the screen. The harder you press the keys, the more you get more of an emphasis to it. And there's so much a plethora of different things that you can use as well. Again, it gives you the option to just concentrate on your keyboard or your MIDI controller to actually utilize these different parameters and set certain things. But obviously, you could do it manually and go to your computer. Also, too, with this, as far as like setting your scale, setting your tempo, you can actually add on different presets on here. You have a mute and a solo button that you can utilize with your DAW if you want to mute and then add another sound that you're going to end up transitioning onto one track. You can do that as well on here. And definitely some of this stuff that I'm talking about is going to be in another video breakdown. Just real quick as well, you can also serve this as a MIDI if you just want to play MIDI straight out on certain instruments. You can do that as well on here. Or you can use, as I mentioned earlier, the different packages that you have programmed onto here as a plugin. So you will click on this and utilize this within your DAW. Then the neat thing is too is, let's go back to browser. Let's go back to, Battery is known for making like different type, they'll have different types of kits, drum kits, allows you the different types of textures within the drum patterns, within bass lines. So why don't we just go here to 808 detail kit. You go ahead and load that up. Give it a sec to load up. And as you notice on the screen, it's set up for you to use. It has all the different pads on there. The great thing about this is, or how the way they structured using Komplete Now 13 Native Instrument, is that if you're going to use a MIDI keyboard as your main controller, that you need to supplement that by also utilizing Maschine, so that you're able to go ahead and make your drum patterns and your bass lines, mainly your drum patterns. In this particular case, I got Maschine Jam. The main one people use is Maschine Plus. Either way, this allows you to go ahead, as you notice in here, create a grid. You can also put it on pad mode, but this grid allows you to separate and input everything that you see on the screen as far as different kicks, snares, and so forth. The thing you do need to remember though is that when you come up here in File, or excuse me, you go to Edit and you go to Preferences, besides understanding your audio, in which what interface your audio is going to come out, you have to come down to Midi, and you actually have to input the device onto the program so that the program itself can read what device is going to be making the sounds. So with battery, you're using pretty much pads in order to create or manipulate different sounds within the pads to create your drum pattern. So you'll have to use a Maschine Jam or a Maschine Plus. That's why you need to input both of these things at the same time. It allows you to go back and forth as far as what you're trying to do. Certain producers end up producing their melody first. Some feel more comfortable creating their drum pattern and their bass line before they move on to the melody. So here I have it set up for this, for the MIDI keyboard. We want to unclick that, and you see how it has it listed. So as long as you got it plugged up, it's going to automatically read what devices that you have. In this particular case, I got the Maschine Jam. So go ahead and click on that and close. So now this is allowing you to go ahead and utilize this device. It's reading this device. It's no longer reading this. Even though if you notice on the screen, it says battery and it seems like it's ready to be utilized. But because you set it in your preferences that you want to use this, that's where it's going for as far as the input of sounds. And then from there, you change the gridding, change the velocity, and you can change the scope of it by using the touch grips. Like I said, you could put it on pad mode so it wouldn't be so much in a grid setting. And again, you can control the whole outlook through here. You have your browse button. You can browse through different kits. You can even put it in note form. It's all dependent on how you structure your beat and how you want to go about it. Obviously, you can set the tempo as well. But again, you could go ahead and just kind of play around with it. And you see how simple it is without even needing to go to the computer. You could just do all of your orchestrating as far as your beat right onto the console itself. And again, once you're done here, you plug it up to your DAW. You can line it out as MIDI onto a track within your DAW, and then proceed there. You can come right back over here, the browser, and just pick something else. Contact. Contact is known for like different loops. And again, you just click on it. You notice on the screen, it comes right to contact, allows you to play the synths. Remember, you come back over here to preferences, go to MIDI, because you're no longer using this. And you want to put it on what you want to use. Now, you can set it up to have them both playing at the same time. But sometimes, depending on what you're trying to do, you might get a little bit mixed up and utilize both of these things at the same time. The patterns are going to cross, and then the software itself is going to be confused. You may not end up getting the results that you're looking for. So me personally, I just do one at a time, depending on what I'm using. I'm just playing something simple, but it's just to show you the basics of how easy you could get started by just using Native Instrument, having a MIDI controller, and then having either Maschine Jam or Maschine Plus working conducively with your MIDI controller. Allows you so much flexibility and ease and workflow to creating your whole beat, from drums, your drum patterns, your kick, your snares, to hi-hats, adding hi-hats or low hats, to doing your bass line, to doing your melody, and so forth. So that's it. I just wanted to kind of give you a basic outline. We are going to have some videos later on that's going to go a little bit more in depth as far as how to really start from beginning to end. But I just wanted to give a quick outline and outlook to showing you how quickly you can just start using Komplete Control 13. Definitely recommend it. They have different suites. I have the link down below in the description. Different based on your budget, what you can afford. All of them is good. They do have a free version. They also have Komplete Now, which is a subscription base suite, and it gives you different things as well with that, and it's $9.99 a month. Either way, definitely recommend Native Instrument. And definitely I'll have the listings for these products as well. Check them out. The price guide is looking at about, for you to get the S60, the Mark II S61, it's probably going to run you about $700, between $700-800. To get the Maschine Jam, it's going to run you about roughly about $250, $300. If you want the Maschine Plus, it'll run you probably another, similar to this, $700-800 as well. It's a little bit pricey, but definitely worth it if you're looking to becoming a music producer. So again, I appreciate you tuning in. This is Zeus Cruz of Olympian Multimedia. And the only thing left to say is get things done. Check you later.